Morning, Sergeant Johnson. I'm Cadet Frost. Today we're going to be looking at an unclassified mission brief regarding the squad ambush that we have been tasked with in destruction of an enemy motorized squad. We'll be starting today looking at the occupation of the ambush site, moving forward to our identification of the enemy, initiation of the ambush, the destruction of the enemy, and then our withdrawal and reorganization back to the rally point. Starting off with the occupation of the ambush site, we'll be going from the ORP here, established on the other side of this hill. This is important because we don't want to silhouette our men by having them on top of the hill. Rather, they'll be away by at least one major terrain feature. From the rally point, we'll be moving to place our respective elements into their proper places, starting with strong side security. We're going to have the Bravo team saw gunner and the Bravo team leader. They'll be placed at a point of cover and concealment on the downslope of this hill, where they have good vantage point of this intersection here, as well as that intersection here, and just general vantage points of this entire road, because we do expect the enemy to be approaching from the south up this road. Next, we'll be placing weak side security, consisting of the Bravo team rifleman and the Bravo team grenadier. These guys are going to be placed right here at a point of cover and concealment as well, and they will have a good vantage point of this road. By placing both of these security elements, we have our eyes and ears for the entire field and the entire position, and they'll be able to communicate with squad leader about any changes that are anticipated or anything expected about the enemy. Next, we'll continue to place our support by fire at a point of cover and concealment right here, and they'll be aimed onto the center of the kill zone marked by this target reference point right here. Support by fire will consist of the attached machine gun team from the platoon, as well as the Alpha team saw gunner. They'll be placed here. They'll be able to have good position of the kill zone and good view point of the kill zone, but they'll still be concealed and they'll be able to amass fires effectively. Lastly, we will place the assault element. They will be within a good vantage point of the kill zone as well. Assault team is going to consist of the Alpha team leader, the Alpha team rifleman, the squad leader as well, and the Alpha team grenadier. One of the important roles for the assault element for this will be placing 3 claymore mines that we've been provided onto the corners of the kill zone and the middle of the kill zone, so that we can box the enemy in when it's time for the ambush to be initiated. Once we have all these different elements in place for our ambush, we'll be moving on to the identification of the enemy, an important part before the ambush can actually be initiated. Strong side security here will be spotting the as they move in and approach the kill zone. Strong side security will have to report what they see. It should be one mounted enemy infantry squad. However, there could be dismounted troops surrounding them. The uniform could appear different. It's important for us to ensure that we have identification. Security will be communicating this with the squad leader by primary means of radio, alternate means of sending a runner. We don't have IR flashes to use for this ambush because it is occurring in the daytime. After this, once we've identified the enemy and we're sure that that's our target, we'll be initiating the ambush. Once the enemy squad is entirely within the kill zone, it's not to scale right here. Just consider the truck actually being able to fit in the kill zone. Once the entire enemy infantry squad is in the kill zone, squad leader will initiate the ambush. The primary means will be the 3 claymore mines that we placed. Alternate will be an AT-4, also with squad leader, and the contingency will be 240 Bravo. If we aren't able to initiate the ambush these ways, we will have to withdraw. And then once we've initiated though, the mad minute begins. Support by fire and the assault elements are amassing their fires onto the kill zone, onto the enemy, in an attempt to neutralize them. Once we've perceived to have neutralized the enemy, squad leader will call for lift fires from the support by fire, and they will cease fire. And the assault element will then proceed to bound through the objective. they'll begin to clear the enemy of any weapons, neutralizing the threat, and then they'll proceed to bound through to the limit of advancement. At a minimum, the LOA is 35 meters away, so that it's out of hand grenade range. However, we have to establish a point of concealment here in between the river and the kill zone. This will be something that we'll have to establish once we get there, as the squad leader will need to perceive the proper place for it. After we've reached the LOA, enemy has been neutralized, it's time for destruction of the kill zone. Squad leader will call for EPW teams, aid and litter teams, and demolition teams to go onto the objective and to be able to neutralize it, to treat any casualties, whether they be our own or the enemy's, and for the demolition of the CSK-141. C4 charges will be placed underneath the vehicle so that we can effectively destroy it. And then at that point, it'll be time for withdrawal once those elements have been taken care of. We'll be using a red, white, and blue plan. At the call of red, the assault element, pick up and withdrawal back to the rally point. At the call of white, support element, picks up and withdraws back to the rally point. At the call of blue, we will be igniting and destroying the CSK-141, and the squad leader will withdraw, as well as the security elements will also go back to the rally point. That time, ambush has been successful. However, we must reorganize, prepare for the next mission. It's important for us to communicate the whole time, whether there's any ammo malfunction, whether there's any casualties or equipment that malfunctions. However, we'll be able to reconsolidate effectively at the end of the ambush. For now, this concludes my brief. I'll be able to answer any questions at this time.